job for actually starting on time. Weird.
Really weird.
All right, I think we're ready to begin. And I'll play the theme song actually afterwards because I just realized that I forgot to set that up first. And yeah, for those of you who missed the blog post, unfortunately the new episode, I couldn't get it finished before now, so it will premiere on Tuesday morning on the blog. All right, ready? Taka, hit the lights. Taka, hit the lights. Over to your left. Your left, damn it! I thought those were the lights right there.
You just turned on the working project.
Oh,
There they are.
thank you, sir. Oh, that's good. Next one down. That,
I'm afraid of them.
no, that'll work. Man, right now you're only cheering for the lights. Alright, we're ready to begin here. Hello and welcome to Power of Atop the Fourth Wall Live! If this is your first time seeing Atop the Fourth Wall in live or recorded form, well, you're probably at the wrong panel. Don't worry, it's a common mistake. Unfortunately, all the exits are now being guarded and there is no escape. I'm just gonna sit here and laugh since this artificially inflates the amount of people I can say watch my stuff. Anyway, as you may have noticed, I am reading from a script, so I apologize in advance if I stutter or slur my words. And I know people can get excited during these live shows and want to throw out their own jokes, but just remember, I'm recording this. So if your comments are not funny, then you're being not funny in front of thousands of people. And if you know Thank you, Taka. And if you know anything about internet comment systems, you know what will happen. Well, Pokemon X and Y have been out for a while, and I'm hoping that people are enjoying them. I know personally, I'm addicted to the Wonder Trade feature, and I'm already planning my second playthrough. But of course, it's always important to remember our roots. The early days of the Pokemans. The days of Pokegod rumors, of the missing no trick, and of course, of the utter pants-crapping creepypastas about Lavender Town's music. And because Halloween just happened and I'm still in a spooky spirit, let us venture into Pokemon Adventures. Specifically, we're looking at the Lavender Town issues. Now, just forewarning, I have no real background or knowledge of the Pokemon Adventure series, so things will probably confuse me, or I'll make joking references that won't match up with what actually happens. If you feel that I have made a mistake in that regard, just remember one important thing about such issues. I really, really do not care. Also, this cover is probably not the one for this chapter. I just grabbed this off of Google Images because I couldn't find the right one. So let us begin the spooky activities in Lavender Town with Chapter 13, Psy for Psyduck. Because there's nothing scarier than a Psyduck. We see our main character, Red, back before he had that makeover for Leaf Green and Fire Red, and he looked slightly more like Ash. He also apparently doesn't know how Pokeballs work, since all of his team are running out in the rain with him. We gotta find some place out of this rain. Man, if only there were some kind of structures that existed one could go inside of to avoid rain. I mean, I suppose you could just turn around and see such things, but nah, turning around would be too much work. Also, I'm curious why the Poliwhirl is there is upset, seeing as it's, you know, a water type. Since I guess in the Adventures universe there's no such thing as a Pokemon Center, Red tries to get the attention of citizens and ask for help, but they all ignore him. Geez, is this Lavender Town or Leave 'em There Town? Bit of a stretch there with the joke, Red. Or should I call you Reed? Red gasps as someone talks to him unexpectedly. Slaves to their suspicions, that's what they've become. They suspected they might be here to turn our sacred Pokemon Tower into some kind of radio tower, but that would just be silly. And wait, he's behind Red, except that's where all his Pokemon were. Does that mean all his Pokemon have combined together to create an old man? So here's the old man, who talks despite having no mouth or nose. Perhaps he's a Jigglypuff in disguise. Anyway, he's here to pay his respects to this tiny grave that just happened to be right in front of Red that he didn't notice. He lived to a ripe old age, my beloved Pokemon, but his time came at last. According to the writing on the gravestone, it was a Doduo. Doduo have 2 heads, but you're referring to it as one, so do Doduo share a single brain, or is one of the heads still alive? Red, naturally feeling sad about the dead Pokemon, gives a little prayer, and the sound effect is VIP. So, praying makes you a very important person? Or is he praying that that old Pamela Anderson TV show VIP would come back? The old man invites him to have something warm to drink at his house. And I just realized that it's still raining. The old man decided to check the grave in the middle of a heavy rainstorm. And Red just put himself down in the wet mud. And where the hell are all his Pokemon? Anyway, the old man is Mr. Fuji, that nice dude in the original game who went to stop Team Rocket in the Pokemon Tower, but we had to save his ass because, well, we're the hero. He talks about the tower and how it's a big cemetery for Pokemon. And naturally, they decided to make their cemetery their local tourist attraction, since the tower is the biggest thing in Lavender Town. Love to have been at the city council meeting where they proposed that. Unfortunately, nobody goes into the tower anymore. It seems that ghosts have overrun the place. Now, you might be wondering why the people wouldn't just realize they're ghost-type Pokemon, but remember, this is the early days of the games. The entire reason you were sent out was to fill out the Pokedex because nobody knows anything about these things. Hell, they probably believe that the buried alive creepypasta is real. Red is incredulous about the idea, but Mr. Fuji further explains that the people have become so terrified of ghosts that they've forgotten how to trust one another. Well, what? Do they think the ghosts are sending out ghost spies among the population? How the hell does that work?
Well, see, first they have a great big ghost council.
Looking through a bunch of photos, he realizes just how much Mr. Fuji cared about his poor Doduo. But then he comes across a picture of Blue, because for some reason, Mr. Fuji decided to take a photo of himself with a guy who frequently ends conversations with "smell you later." When Blue was told about the ghosts, he also laughed it off and made a run for the tower 2 weeks previously. But recently, nobody who enters the tower leaves. So yeah, 2 weeks without food or water, he's probably dead now. And probably gonna become a Yamask. Seriously, does anyone read all the Pokedex entries? The Pokemon writers are messed up.
A Drifloon got him.
Realizing that Blue, being a pretty skilled trainer, doesn't get defeated easily, so whatever did this to Blue could be dangerous. Which is why Red immediately charges toward the place, especially with the sound effect of glare! Red used mean look. It's not very effective. And so Red enters the tower and begins looking around the creepy environment filled with tombstones. Actually, here's a thought. How bad is Lavender Town at treating their Pokemon that they require an entire tower devoted to dead ones? I mean, if you see it in the games, it's a pretty small town, yet there are like hundreds of tombstones. I'm just saying. In the foggy darkness, Red spots a Psyduck! Is that a Pokemon? Yeah, Red, believe it or not, it is. More apparitions appear, including a Slowbro, a Tangela, and what appears to be a Squirtle. And because this wouldn't be a horror-themed review, here's your nightmare fuel! You didn't think they could make a Psyduck scary, did ya? Then you make it a soulless abomination with no eyes and teeth, and suddenly you realize why the thing has a headache. From the longer shot, we see the Psyduck is just a head on a skeleton. Why aren't there more creepypastas about this thing? Red sends out his Bulbasaur, which uses Razor Leaf. And Razor Leaf is legitimately a razor in this case because because the leaves become embedded in Psyduck's head. The Psyduck's body has also returned for some reason. However, the Psyduck then seems to run away in that bottom panel. Guess the Razor Leaf fixed the headache.
Acupuncture.
Bulbasaur then tries to use sleep powder, but that doesn't knock them out either. Don't you love how all the ghosts have the black eyeless sockets just staring out? Pokemon writers sure love creeping us all the hell out, don't they?
I think it's a Lickitung.
You know.
I think it's a Lickitung.
Got all the Lickitung there too. Let's see. Unfortunately, it seems that the Razor Leaf fell out of Psyduck's head because now it leaps through the air at Red, mouth out wide. Fortunately, Bulbasaur uses Vine Whip to repel it. However, the Psyduck's body begins rotting away. It's just an empty body, but what was making it move? So whatever ghostly force is behind this was using actual dead bodies. I'd be horrified about that, except I'm more tilting my head about where they got the dead bodies. I assumed the headstones were just, well, headstones. Are all the dead Pokemon just put under the floor? Red wonders who's controlling the things as more fog and mist enters the room. So, trying to mystify me, eh? Oh, Red, you just saw a rotting corpse. They make a run for it, but then realizes the Poke Corpses aren't pursuing them. In fact, they're not leaving the fog. So, there's your Pokemon and Silent Hill crossover, kids. The purple haze is what's controlling those zombies. Wow, a purple haze in their brains. You know, lately things just don't seem the same. Acting funny, but I don't know why. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Before he can use this knowledge to his advantage, I just lost my place suddenly. A fireball shoots out and almost hits Red. And out of the mist walks Blue! You're okay. I never thought I'd be glad to say that. I was hoping you were a desiccated corpse so I wouldn't have to deal with you later. However, we end chapter 13 with the reveal of Blue and his Charmeleon as white-eyed and therefore under the control of the ghosts. What, no lack of eyes whatsoever? Or are we saving that for the adaptation of Pokemon Lost Silver? Yeah, like half of you are like, what the hell is he talking about?
And we call it Lost Blue.
And now with chapter 14, That Awful Arbok. Okay, these are starting to sound like sitcom names. Next thing you know, we're going to have Everybody Loves Electros. Or How I Met Your Misdreavus. Blue, talk to me, dude. Smell you later. Sister, give town map only to me. Charmeleon attacks and Bulbasaur manages to restrain it with his Vine Whip, further proving the awesomeness of Bulbasaur, if I might say. We can't fight each other. We've got to learn who's behind it. Okay, Red, you do realize we might like every time... Okay, Red, you do realize we fight like every time we encounter each other, right? I remember we were in the middle of fighting Team Rocket at the Sylph Company and I still challenged you. I'm kind of an asshole. There's only one Pokemon I know who can take over bodies like this. Actually, I can probably think of about half a dozen from Generation 1 who could probably do it, not the least of which is Hypno, which was already a Pokemon that was creepy as hell. One gas-type Pokemon with the power of psychokinesis, Ghastly! Okay, a few things. One, his Pokedex entry defines him as the gas Pokemon, not gas type, which is not a real type. Two, he does not have psychokinetic powers, and in fact, its secondary type is poison, so it's weak to psychic abilities. Ugh, what a terrible adaptation of the game. Boo! 0 out of 10. Anyway, Bulbasaur tries to attack the Ghastly with Razor Leaf, but they pass right through him. Ghastly's made of gas. The Razor Leaves go right through it.
No, really?
Actually, I'm kind of surprised the games don't work like this. Normal and fighting type moves don't work on ghost type Pokemon, but personally, I don't think any physical type move should work on them. So fine, Pokemon Adventures, I'll give you that one. 1 out of 10. But you better not pull anything else completely ridiculous and out of nowhere, or I'll give you a negative 1 out of 10 for not being exactly the same as the games in every single way. In fact, why is Red talking? Blue has Charmeleon start a fire spin. Oh, sorry, did I do that? Yeah. But all the surrounding wind and flames gets absorbed away, including parts of Ghastly. What's responsible? Bulbasaur, of course! Basically, he's using the bulb on its back to absorb everything, much like how it'd absorb energy for a solar beam. And that, my friends, further proves the awesomeness of Bulbasaur and why I always have one on my team and give him an Everstone so he won't evolve. Team Bulbasaur all the way! Bulbasaur! You thought that plant on its back could only spurt things out? You ain't seed nothing yet! Okay, I'd comment on the pun, but why the Mario wah there? Ghastly is defeated, but we're not done yet as Blue wakes up. Blue thanks Red, but he's not done yet. They start climbing the tower to find the one responsible for all of this. Granny Goodness! No, actually, it's even more ridiculous than that. It's Koga. Yeah, Koga, the poison-type gym leader from Fuchsia City. I am one of Team Rocket's elite triad, Ninja Koga. Yep, in this continuity, Koga is actually a member of Team Rocket. And yes, he still becomes a member of the Elite Four when the gold and silver stuff comes around. What? Wouldn't you think a team of evildoers could just build a base without all these annoying interruptions? You mean this tower? It's perfect for us, since the simple townsfolk blame everything suspicious on ghosts. Yes, your ingenious plan of hiding Team Rocket's presence here by making a big commotion and draw more attention to the place through the prevalence of ghosts and trouble that would eventually attract the police, paranormal investigators, strong trainers, and the Ghostbusters Kanto division. This was a good plan. It seems that Koga here is actually an illusion, and he's controlling his Pokemon from a distance. Which makes me wonder where the hell all the other members of Team Rocket are. If they're using this place for a base, where is everybody? Koga unleashes an Arbok on the two, who quickly flee. So you climbed up all this way, and now you're running. Blue, you're an asshole. Well, actually, he's an asshole, but he's smart and comes up with a plan. He has Charmeleon cast Reflect. Koga has Arbok use an acid attack, shattering the Reflect. But then it turns out the Reflect had been put over one of the zombie Pokemon, something Koga would have been able to see if he had been there, but since he's using a little remote control doohickey, it's not good enough. So what does Blue have Charmeleon do? He slices Arbok in half. Seriously, look at that! Look at it! Pokemon don't die, they faint! Except for Arbucks. They get sliced in frickin' half. So,
That looks delicious.
I have so many. Same for all the Team Rocket. Team 4-Star. I was saying Team Rocket. Team 4-Star going to their autograph session. So does he need like 2 Pokeballs now? I have so many questions.
Don't worry, the Pokemon Center can glue them back together.
Ooh, this Blue is good. Not that I'll ever tell him that, or else he might chop me up Texas Chainsaw style.
That blue as opposed to the other blue? It's like this blue.
And outside the tower, Koga swears revenge. Man, that poor Golbat he's hanging on to. Dude's got to weigh at least 150 pounds, and he's that high up. And remember how a Golbat flies. And so our story ends with Red continuing on his way after saying something nice about Blue. And still none of his Pokemon are in balls, meaning Pikachu and Poliwhirl just kind of decided to stay out of this one for fear of being sliced in half. Which is now a legitimate reason to be afraid in this universe. Anyway, bizarre choices of outright slaughtering Pokemon aside, this was pretty good. Nicely frightening in places, and for someone like me who's only used to the anime and the games, seeing plot twists and how the gym leaders interact, especially the original ones, is very cool. That's all I got, so thank you, everybody! And now we will do the theme song if I have... Yep, I still have a copy of the previous... actually, 2 previous theme songs beforehand. So, everyone ready to sing it? Too late. Not allowed, let me turn it down.
You did it!
Welcome to Atop Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkar's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Trust me, you're not the smartest. I felt not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, give the man punch. Where's the birdie at? Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where he purchased that? Linkara. Coins, robots, Amazon trucks, Linkara. This comic sucks, Linkara. And now if we could bring up the house lights. Thank you, sir.
Dance, puppets, dance.
All right, so we have about another 20-30 minutes left. So the rest of the time will be devoted to Q&A. Along with Will, who you might know him as Snowflame! As well as the suit actor of Lord Vice, and, well, which we haven't used in a while for obvious reasons. And, of course, Jarrus the Gunslinger. All right, let's start off, since we just had a Pokemon thing, the Team Rocket shirt.
Okay. How do you come up with all these different names for the live Atop episodes? I'm just curious.
For the live ones? Well, the first round of them was based off of the Frankenstein Universal film series. So we had Atop the Fourth Wall, and we had Bride of Atop the Fourth Wall, Son of Atop the Fourth Wall, House, that kind of thing. The next line of them was the Romero zombie movies. So we had Diary, Dawn, Land, that kind of thing. And now I'm going through the Dalek episodes of Doctor Who. So we'll have Power and Evil and Genesis and all that fun stuff. Now over to this side. You, sir.
Yes, I was just curious, was the Gunslinger story arc, was it always intended for Insano to be the main final villain?
Yep.
And was it always meant to have Noah come over and all that? So the whole time, even though
Yep.
you were the first, that one?
Yeah, it was always my intention of doing that because I realized that I wanted to have, where are you people going? Oh, I see how it is. You want to get team 4-star signatures. I get it. No, don't do that. That's just rude. No, yeah, it was always the intention of doing that because I realized that after the Entity storyline concluded that I couldn't top it. In terms of like trying to escalate the threat, we got an eldritch abomination. There was no way we could get anything bigger than that. So I needed to turn the show inwards to do character development on the characters, which is why we had the Harvey Fine voice, Christmas stuff where we explored his character, Linkara having to go through an arc and a journey. And I didn't want Jarrus to be an actual villain. I wanted a supporting character, a new supporting character, and Will was interested in acting with me, and so we set this whole storyline up so that he could be a good guy who was doing bad things. And so I wanted an actual villain, and I always felt bad that I never got to have Insano fulfill his promise at the end of the Linkara arc, where he said, "I'm back." So yeah, I just kind of set up the little things here and there. I knew that after I took Neutro, that he would steal it back, that he would be, the final villain. And then Tiboldi Flea set up this perfect thing with the power-enhancing energy gloves. And since Insano got the house ship at the end of Tiboldi Flea, he would have those to actually be able to have a knockout, legitimate brawl. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I just loved it. It was so surprising that he actually, Noah was actually there with the guy.
Thank you. Let's go 90s kid.
In your last episode, you had the return of Harvey Finers. Are there other beloved secondary characters who will be back anytime soon?
If you're referring to a certain person that you're cosplaying as,
Or the Ninja Style Dancer.
or the Ninja Style Dancer, I really need to do more of the Ninja Style Dancer. The problem is the Ninja Style Dancer is one of those kind of characters that I only want to use if I have a really good joke for, because it's kind of a joke character. He worked well in the Entity storyline because of the fact that he didn't talk. And I had that kind of connection that he always knew what the Entity was. And he tried to warn people, but he at least tried to, well, in his way, because of course it would be too bad to say, "It's missing number." But at least he knew who was possessing him. In terms of 90s kid, he's probably going to be absent for a while, for two reasons. One, for the fact that I need to do I only want to use him for jokes for 90s comics. And also because I have plans for 90s Kid in the storyline. And those plans involve him not being involved in the main action. I'm playing the long game, and I'm planning for 2 storylines ahead. For example, the puzzle piece that he brought back from the future, yeah, that's actually long term. You will find out what it is at the start of a storyline, so you'll see. Sewing machine! I just picked out random objects around me at the time as I was writing. Like, okay, I got a sewing machine. Sewing machine! Will, you want to pick one?
Let's see.
Me?
Yes, you sir.
Can I give you a thing?
Yes, you can.
Wow, that was beneficial. You get a present now.
Well, why are you giving me a good thing?
Because why not?
People give me no one... You do realize what I do on my show, right?
You Lance, right?
By the way, if you do want to give me things, just to make sure we have time for Q&A stuff, I have an autograph signing at 3 o'clock right across the way in those tables. So you can give me stuff there, and I will sign things and be selling some things before Will has to drive back with all of it. And that includes DVDs, badges, a remaining woman's size t-shirt,
That says bees. My God.
Your microphone turned on?
Yeah.
Had to go over other extras like this when people are here. And suddenly I feel like I'm Mr. Plinkett. Want a pizza roll? Email this web zone if you want a pizza roll. Anyway, all right, next question. Youmacon. Yep.
Where did the inspiration for the gunslinger character come from, and how much input did Will have in any writing?
None whatsoever. I'm kidding.
Probably a dangerous amount. Mostly because I developed the character based on two things. One was Uber from Suikoden 3, so that's mostly the bowler hat and the hairstyle as well as the personality. And the
Join me, Full Metal Alchemist.
everyone loves that. But I also did the outfit based off of Christian Bale's character in Equilibrium, which, despite being kind of a craptacular movie based off of a really, really, really good book, Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah.
You can see it. You can see the similarities. I really loved the costuming styles in that movie, as well as the gun kata. So that's my little nerd moment in that one.
Nerd moment? What show is this?
A legitimate internet series.
Yeah, most of my work on it was originally with just that I wanted to have a character who kind of acted as a dark mirror of Linkara, who had his own reviewer outfit. He was a reviewer. He had his own magic gun. And originally, we keep trying to find time to record the commentary on those episodes. I feel really bad that we still haven't. But the storyline is probably the most that has changed from conception to actual airing over the course of it, which is also ironically it is technically the longest storyline because I have the most storyline episodes in it. Part of it was one of the original concepts for it would have been that that the Arsenal of Freedom has expanded so much that the magic gun kind of felt kind of pissed off that it doesn't get used anymore. That idea kind of got dropped because then basically it's just the girl in the magic gun is jealous of other weapons, which that's stupid. And the idea would be that it would be Jarrus would have multiple battles with Linkara, and he would keep escalating his own arsenal, and Linkara would keep reducing his. So I think what we actually ended up doing was a lot better. All right, Will, you want to pick another one?
The man with the twirling hat in the back.
Thank you. And he actually has a question too, if you may.
One question per person. No, fine, okay.
Exactly. We're just next to each other. He tried. I have a twirling hat.
Question?
Sorry. Actually, it's less a question and more a request. After the panel, could you please help me find the episode listing so I can see the story from the beginning to the end? Because I've seen some episode segments, but I haven't really been actively trying to watch it because I don't like spoilers. I like seeing everything chronologically.
I do apologize for any spoilers. I'm trying to avoid any spoilers for the end of the most recent one. So don't try to comment on those other than, yes, Harvey appears in that one.
I don't mind hearing that. I'm more like watching ahead of where I'm actually supposed to be at, which I still have yet to find the actual definitive beginning of where you actually start having...
Well, there's a funny thing about that because it depends on what you count as the beginning of the storyline or not. Because some people would count the Neutral review as the start of it because that's where Dr. Insano first menaces it, but menaces me directly. But he also first appeared in a previously on segment. Do you count when I got the magic coin in the Charles Barkley versus Godzilla review? It just kind of depends there. I mean, if you go by the Mechakara storyline, the very start of that is Superman versus the Terminator. But if you want to know what episodes contain storyline and which ones don't,
But pause. I'm in the beginning of all the storylines.
Yeah, as I was just about to say, at4wplotguide.tumblr.com.
Thank you. I'm going to make note of that.
Just to say that again, at4wplotguide. There you go. And that's for everybody. It's run by a wonderful woman who summarizes each of the storyline stuff and has arranged them all into each individual storyline name. Some of them were fan names that have become the actual storyline names because I got no other name for them other than the Mecha Saga, the Vice Saga, that kind of thing.
Now, since mine was more a question, can I pass my actual question off to him so he can ask his question?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Oh, my question is basically, my friend and I here, clearly, we want to do our own sort of channel, but it's pretty much sort of what you do, and we've been having a lot of trouble because of the fact that we're both non-stop busy all the time, always out. Yeah, shut that up. I just want to ask you, what do you do with your schedule, actually? Because of the fact that you just mentioned that sometimes you'll get the stuff, and it takes you a long, long time to actually get around to other things. So what is a good idea to start with schedule maybe?
Basically, it just comes down to committing to a day that you want to release something and making sure it gets done before then. With the weekly Atop the Fourth Wall stuff, I've got it down to a pretty good system where if I really rushed and worked at it and had nothing else to worry about, I could get a full episode edited in a single day. Filmed and edited in a single day, in fact, sometimes. Written is trickier. I can't write it and film it and edit it all in the same day. It's just too much. Usually it's best to pace yourself because otherwise you will go stir crazy. So I have a schedule out. Monday is usually my day off, so I just approve comments and let things go as they are so I can relax. Then Tuesday and Wednesday are spent writing it. Thursday I film it. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is all editing.
Okay, so if you only have 4 days to work with, actually 3 days to work with, you can Thursday through Saturday, since I don't do any work stuff on Sunday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is completely filled up by school and traffic.
Then you're screwed. No. Basically, work at your own pace and whatever is most comfortable for you. As you get better at it, you'll be able to get it done.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Quite welcome. We have new people coming in. How y'all doing?
Wonderful.
Very good. All right, well, did you pick Will? I did. Okay, my turn. Let's go with the Nostalgia Critic up front here.
Hi, just keeping with the Pokemon theme, do you think that they should kind of wrap up the Ash saga and maybe start a new one?
I don't mind Ash still being the hero. I mind that he's still 10 years old. Because we have now reached the point where he has been traveling. If you had a single day per episode, he's been traveling for 2 years. And of course, that doesn't account for episodes that do span multiple days. So, not necessarily wrap him up, but at least let him actually develop. And to be fair, I watched the first 2 episodes of the X and Y anime, and oh my god, they are good. Great music, and Ash has a great battle with, what's his name? Who is the gym leader of Lumio City? Clement. Yeah, he has a great battle with Clement against his Bunnelby, and he doesn't act like this is his first battle. Also, Ash is very heroic in the episode because he's constantly diving to save Pikachu. He jumps off Lumio's tower to save him. It's epic, and the animation is really damn good in it too. Anyway, Will. Oh, sorry.
When Linkara reviews the last Marvel, is he going to need a liver transplant?
I haven't decided yet how I'm going to open the last Marvel episode because I've been doing this thing where every episode in it, I'm kind of drunk, or with the Poyo, or in one when I was putting Poyo in his new body, I then became drunk after the theme song. So I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do it because I think the 5th one had the best one where I'm just sitting still and then slowly fall over. Poyo comes on like, yeah, it's Marvel again. Give us a second here. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. That will be in January. We will end the Marvel saga. Issues 6 and 7 together, even though issue 7 is not really issue 7. It's a long story. I'll explain in the thing. We have 10 minutes. Good. All right. Will, you can pick one now.
I'll take Thor from the side. I'll take Thor to block.
I'll take Thor for 200.
I'm really interested in the actual storylines of the show more than the actual reviews. I was just curious as to what storyline has been your favorite to actually write, sit down and write it out, and is there any storyline that you want to write that you just don't have the resources to?
My favorite storyline that I've done is the Entity storyline. I don't think I've ever topped that. I think I've done good with it. I don't like the... I've mentioned this before. I love that comics don't end. I love continuing sagas, and I love seeing more development. I wish there was more change, and I wish things did develop. And yes, it's okay if it goes to a natural conclusion point and then ends, and goes with that, and maybe someone else passes on. But I love that things keep going on and on and on. And this is something that bugged me about the Spider-Man animated series, because it was a good conclusion point for them, but it could have continued on. And they had plans for what they would do. They continued on, but they said that it was okay because they felt it wouldn't have been as good. I don't like that philosophy. I like the idea of, if you can still tell good stories, keep telling good stories. So that's what I'm doing with the storyline right now. I don't think I'll ever get better than the Entity storyline, but I'm going to keep trying to make good ones. So that was my favorite to write out and stuff. And in terms of stuff that I want to do but can't, there are a few ideas that I'm going to have tricky things to go with. I will tell you that an upcoming storyline in about 2 or 3 storylines down the road will be called Contest of Champions. That'll be a bit tricky with how I plan to do it, but I think I figured out a good way around it to make it more interesting overall than just... Because if you could probably guess it, it involves battling other champions. I know, spoilers! But I think I figured out a way to make it kind of fun and unique in its own way, and not just be me and Jarrus shooting each other back and forth for 5 minutes.
It's Dragon Ball Z.
No. That wouldn't have shooting back and forth. That would be 10 minutes of ah, and then shooting, and then ah, and then.
If that's your entire episode, you're just going to be making millions of dollars. Wow, they are really charging up here. I can't wait to see the next episode.
A lot of speed lines behind me. Anyway, you with the waving sword.
It feels like my arm is lost also. Anyway, 2 things. One about the Marvel thing, actually. Just had, you can contemplating suicide at this point.
No. It's always a tricky thing with suicide. Spoonie does not make suicide jokes anymore because a fan of his did commit suicide. Yeah, he felt really bad about that. It's always straddling the line with that kind of joke, because I do know a lot of my fans have had issues with depression and whatnot. Which is why I prefer my method of doing it, and that's portraying Linkara as a raging alcoholic. Which I have had emails from people telling me, don't make fun of alcoholism. I'm not going to stop because there's depression alcohol, there's bad alcoholism, and then there's funny alcoholism.
What is the question I have is, what is the most annoying thing you find in comics? When you're in the writing, the small little things that just make you so mad you want to punch the whole thing.
The most annoying thing I ever found in any form of medium is when the characters are idiots, and it bugs me like hell. And it's why Predator is one of my favorite movies, because nobody's stupid in that movie. The Thing, nobody is stupid. John Carpenter's The Thing, nobody is stupid. I love movies where everyone is intelligent, and yes, you can be intelligent and still make mistakes. It is very easy. More horror movies need to adapt that philosophy. But yeah, that's the most annoying thing for me.
Well, I'll take Insano in the 4th row.
Thank you. Thanks to the wonders of the internet, we can play Cards Against Humanity online, and I'm wondering what you think of some of the entries that you have
In the Atop, that guy with the glasses, Cards Against Humanity section. Some of them are interesting. Some of them I know where they come from. Dodger of Zion, who helps me out with a lot of stuff whenever I'm on the East Coast, she submitted a few in there, including Linkara, the tears. I'm trying to think of what the exact words are. Something like Linkara's tears are made of dead cybermats or something.
Drinking Gatorade made of cybermats.
Drinking Gatorade made of the tears of cybermats. Oh, those are weird ones. But I love them. I love the fact that the guy who created the online version of Cards Against Humanity loves Take with Take and wanted to do that expansion pack with us, and it's been glorious.
We got about time for about 3 more questions.
All right. So I'll pick this next one. Let's go over here to the back, to the corsets.
Hello. My question is, so in like a lot of crossover reviews, you keep Suburban Nights, you kept trying to make it a musical, and the Les Mis review, you wanted to be. And when are you going to do your own musical review?
Yeah.
I've been trying to think of a good way to do a musical review with my stuff, because I'm sure I could write the lyrics to it. The thing is, I just need to find something that's appropriate for a musical review. Maybe
Dazzler comic.
maybe Dazzler.
Snowflake.
What was that?
Archie Glee.
I'm not doing Archie Glee. I only want to punish myself so much.
Archie Kiss.
Maybe Archie Kiss. Or maybe one of the Kiss comics in general, because what I want to do one of the Marvel Kiss comics, because those things are freaking awesome.
The one that had their blood mixed in.
Okay, we have time. We'll pick another one.
I'm gonna go with Scarecrow.
Linkara, what is your favorite kind of story in comics?
What is my favorite kind of story? Basic, standard kind of structure, kind of similar to the structure of certain Power Rangers episodes, actually, where a hero and where a villain is committing a crime, the hero shows up to stop them, they fight, the hero gives as good as he can, but the villain manages to get away, but still manages to beat him. The hero comes up with something very clever to fight back for the second encounter. They have the second encounter, hero wins, lesson of the day. Although in some cases, if you ever read the Blue Beetle Jaime Reyes comics, the original ones, not the new 52 version, those were very good about doing done-in-one stories, but building towards an overall arc. Especially with possibly the greatest titled comic ever, Total Eclipso the Heart.
Yes.
All right, now for I think we have time for one more question. Let's pick you, Kat.
Oh, okay. This is for both of you. Of all the monsters and villains on Atop the fourth wall, what would you say would probably be the scariest for either of you?
I am my own worst enemy. No, the entity one, I tried to do as scary as I can. Because I knew it would be the first review I ever did, which was released on Halloween, so I tried to make it as creepy and scary as I could. And while everything didn't work out perfectly, I was working all day on Halloween on it. I didn't get it out in time. By the way, this most recent storyline finale, first time in 4 years that I've actually finished the episode before the day it was supposed to come out. Last one was the Linkara finale. I'm still not sure how I did that. But yeah, that's the scariest one for me. You did?
Mine's probably the entity as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way you put that together. I mean, it really was quite creepy. None of the other villains were able to get to that level of just being able to cause terror the way the entity did.
Black Lantern Spoonie, maybe. No, that's more Spoonie's villain than mine. I wrote Black Lantern Spoonie mostly because the idea was to review dead games, and Spoonie was dead at the time, and we would have to have come up with an excuse for why Spoonie was in Chicago with me during the Alone in the Dark filming, reviewing old comic-based video games. So I think that worked out pretty well. Is there a staffer right now? Just to make sure.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
All
it.
right.
Come to the
Thanks
autograph
very much.
session. 3 to 4:30.
All right, now before anyone starts rushing up to the stage, because I know you all want to do that, I will have an autograph session at 3 o'clock right outside there. In the meantime, I am going to pack everything up and then go check out the dealer's room for a bit, because I barely had any time to walk around and enjoy the convention myself.
Thanks for coming out, guys.
It's not a bad thing, because I'm hanging out with you guys. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it.